Do you want to learn how to cut and sew this gorgeous Queen Anne neckline dress with beads detailing? Hey guys, my name is Timmy. In today's tutorial, we're going to be learning how to draft the gorgeous dress pattern. And for my returning subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in. For my new viewers, you're very much welcome and you're in the right place. So we did put up a poll to know which dress you guys would prefer for my next tutorial, and the majority voted for this one. So without further ado guys, let's get started with today's tutorial. Welcome back guys. To start off with this tutorial, I'm going to go down by 1 inch from my pattern paper to get the starting point for my measurements. So this starting point will also be my shoulder line, okay? So we're going to rule out a straight line. And from this straight line, we're going to start taking our body measurement. For my bust point, I'm going to be making use of 10, my waist is 16, my waist to hip is 8. Then the next thing to do is to repeat the same markings on this side, and I'll proceed to roll out a straight line. I'll proceed to place my tape on my shoulder line, and I'm going to mark my knee point. So for my knee, I'm going to be making use of 36 inches, and I'm also going to get the full length of my dress, which is going to be 45 inches. I'll proceed to also add extra 2 inches for my hemming allowance. I'll repeat the markings on this other side and I'll roll out a straight line. So this will be my shoulder line, my bust line, my waistline, my hip, my knee line, my full length, and the last line will be my allowance. So on my shoulder line, I'm going to proceed to divide my shoulder measurement divided by 2, which is going to be 7.5. I'll mark it right here on the shoulder line. I'll also proceed to mark my neck depth of 3 inches. And from my shoulder line, I'm going to go down by 1 inch to get the shoulder slope by connecting it to the neckline. After connecting the point, the next thing to do is to get my armhole measurement, which is my bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5. Mine is 7.5, so this is what I marked right here, and I'm going to roll the line vertically and horizontally to get my chest line. I'll proceed to write CH, which means the chest line. Now to get my armhole, I'm going to go ahead and mark my bust measurement on my chest line, which is 9, and I'll divide what I have on this line into 2. I'll make a marking and go in by 0.5, and I'll connect these 3 points to form my armhole. The next thing to do is to mark my bust measurement on my bust line, and on my waistline, I'll mark my waist measurement divided by 4, and I'm going to add extra 1 inch for my dart allowance. I'll go down to my hip line and mark my hip measurement divided by 4, which is 9.5. The 9.5 that I got on my hip, I'm going to mark the same thing on my knee line. I'll mark the same thing on my full length and also mark the same thing on my allowance. So I'm going to go ahead and connect from the allowance straight into the knee line. So to get the pencil fitting of the dress, on my allowance, I'm going to go ahead and mark 0.75. I'll mark the same thing on my full length, and I'll go ahead and connect my waistline to my hip line. But I'm not going to connect it fully, just look where I'm going to stop. So I stopped right there, and now from my hip line, I'm going to go down by 3 inches. I'll connect this line in a straight line. Then on that 3 inches mark, I went ahead to mark 0.5, and on my knee line, I marked 0.75. I'm going to connect these lines like so. Then the next thing now is to join the new line with the hip line. So this is what I have on my hip. The next thing is to join my bust line into my waistline. So now I'm going to be imputing my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 3.5, but I went ahead to add half an inch to the measurement. From my bust line, I went down by 1 inch, and from my waistline, I went down by 5 inch. This is going to be the length of my dart. I connected this line in a straight line, and for my dart legs, I'm going to be making use of half an inch on both sides. I'll proceed to connect the dart. So we're also going to be making use of a bust dart, and for my bust dart I went down by 1.5, which is the differences that I have from my back measurement and my front measurement, and I went ahead to connect it into the bust point. So we're not going to be making use of the shaded part. And now for my neck width, I went up to mark 6.5. This is how I want my neckline to be. You can go down by 7 inches or 6 inches depending on how revealing you want this part to be. So this is my new neckline. So to get the neckline, for my neck width, I'm making use of 3 inches, and for my neck depth, I'm also going to be making use of 3 inches. So I'll just use my ruler to connect it like so. On this neckline, I'm going to go ahead and go down by 1 inch, and from this 1 inch, I'll connect to the width of my neck, which I made use of 4.25. So this is to get the queen and neckline, and I'm just going to join it like so. So this is what we have for the neckline. So to get the measurement of the bead, you want to measure around the neckline that you marked. And for me, I had 5 inches. This is what I'm going to be using for the beads. Okay, so now I went ahead to confirm if what I had there was fine. On my shoulder line, I'm going to be adding half an inch. We're not going to be making use of this neckline, so I'm going to end up cutting that out. For my armhole as well, I'm going to be marking half an inch. And for my sides, I'm going to be making use of 1.5 inches for my allowance. Please take your measurement from the second line, which is connected to your hip. So my allowance is 1.5, and I'm just going to mark it all around. I'll proceed to label this the allowance. So to avoid gaping on the neckline, you can go ahead and create a dot right here. But now we're just going to proceed to cut out our pattern. I'm going to go ahead and cut out this, and also come back to cut out the neckline. So I'm going to cut out my queen and neckline, and this is how it looks. So we're going to be adding half an inch on the neckline, and now we're going to drop the back. I went ahead to mark 1 inch for my starting point, just as we did for the front. And I'm also going to take note of my zipper allowance, which I'm making use of 1.5. I'll go ahead and connect those points. And I'll label this the zipper allowance. So from the starting line, I'll go down by my bust point, which is 10 inches. I'll go down by my waist at 16, my hip measurement, which is at 24, and my knee length at 36. So my paper is a bit short here. I'm going to be adding an extension, and for the full length of the back, I'm making use of 43.5. This is because we're not having a bust dart. So after adding, I'll just go ahead and mark 2 inches extra from my full length, and I'll connect those lines. So this is the shoulder line, the bust line, the waistline, the hip, the knee, the full length, and the allowance. So on my shoulder line, I'll mark my neck width of 3 inches by the depth of 1 inch. I'll connect this with my ruler. I will also connect this neckline into my zipper allowance. So now I'll take my shoulder measurement, which is 7.5. I'll be taking it from the zipper allowance, okay? I'll go down by 1 inch, and I'll connect to my neck width. After getting the shoulder slope, the next thing is to get our armhole, which is our bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5. Mine is 7.5. I just went ahead to confirm if I have the correct measurement, and I'll connect this point vertically and horizontally to get our chest line. The next thing to do is to get the armhole. We're going to divide what we have here into 2, mark it right there and go inwards by 0.5. On my chest line, I marked my bust measurement divided by 4, and I connected the 3 points to get my armhole. Now on the bust line, we're going to go ahead and mark our bust measurement divided by 4, which is 9. On my waistline, I'll add 1 inch to my waist measurement for the dart. Then on the hip line, I'll mark my hip measurement divided by 4, which is 9.5. I'll place the 9.5 on my knee line, on my full length, and on my allowance. We'll proceed to connect the points. We're going to be repeating exactly what we did in the front for the back, and what I'm going to do is come down by 3 inches. From this 3 inches, I'll go inwards by 0.5. Then from that point, I'm going to proceed by marking 0.75 all the way to the bottom. I'm going to connect those points. Then I'll use my curve ruler to connect the body points as well. So I'll connect from my chest line to my bust line, from my bust line into my waist, and I'll use my curved ruler to connect my hip line as well. So this is what we have. The next thing to do is to impute our dart, which is going to be 4 inch and half an inch on both sides for the dart legs. So I went ahead to mark the same thing on the bust line. On the chest line, I came down by half an inch. I'll proceed to connect this point. Then for my waistline, I'll go down by 6 inches. This is how long I want my dart to be on my back. So I connected the points, and I'm going to go ahead and connect the dart legs as well. To avoid zipper bulging on the waistline, I'll go outwards by half an inch and come in by half an inch. So I'm going to connect this line into my upper bodice, and I'll also connect downward into my hip line. To have a bit of contour by the hip, I'm going to go ahead and also give it a shape. And to get the shape, what I'm going to do is from my hip line, I'll go down by 3 inches. And from this 3 inches, I'm going to go outwards by half an inch. I'll use my ruler to connect the shape. And I'll just go ahead and mark a line straight down. I'll then proceed to mark my allowance. For the sides, I'm making use of 1.5. For the armhole, I'm going to be making use of half an inch. For the shoulder line, I'm making use of half an inch, and also half an inch for the neckline. I'm going to join this point. So I'll just label this as my allowance, and this is the back. I'm just going to quickly label the front. And now we're going to go ahead and cut out our piece. Next, we'll be drafting out our sleeves. So I have my pattern here. I already drafted my basic sleeve. And for the full length, I have 23 inches and I added 4 inches extra. So now for the opening on the edge, you want to determine how wide you want it to be. For mine, I'll be making use of 20, and 20 divided by 2 is 10. I marked 10, and from my wrist, I went down by half an inch, and I'm going to connect the lines together. So I'm going to place my ruler like so to get the shape. So for the basic sleeve, I have a tutorial on the channel that explains everything. So I'll leave the link in the description box so you're able to draft your own basic sleeve. I'll then go ahead to connect the sleeve edge to the hemline. So this middle line is not needed, and now I'm going to cut out my sleeve pattern. I'll just label this the sleeve. For my materials, I have my beads right here, and I'm going to be making use of my zipper, my hemming gum, my bias tape. I also have an interfacing, and my material is called a 4-way stretch. So this is about 3 meters, and this material is a bit stretchy. And this is all we have for today's tutorial. Thank you so much for watching till the end of the video. If this video was helpful to you in any way, please do not forget to support the channel by liking, and do not forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.